Galen Breen.
Okay, tell me a bit about yourself, where you're from, and how this all got started.
Well, I'm from the state of Pennsylvania, but I've been in Nashville 25 years, coming up this next year. And I've known Rob Skaggs for about 15, 20 years, and I've worked with him only as a musician for the past 4 or 5.
How long you been picking that Strat? Telly, sorry.
I had a Telly tonight. I do have a Strat.
Right.
I've been playing guitar since I was 11. I was born in 1960, so that makes it 43 years.
I know she got a really melodic style that just kind of flows, and it's really pretty. Who inspired you the most, would you say? And I know you can't probably pick just one, but where's your inspiration come from? It doesn't have to be a musician, it could be any other or.
Well, I'd say probably my biggest influence, when I started playing in 1971, the whole thing was Guitar Gods at that time, and Eric Clapton was on top. Because I just like the slower style with more feel in the fingers, as opposed to people that pick faster. Actually, back then you didn't find too many guitar players who played really fast, like Eddie Van Halen really brought that in.
Or the old Alan Lee stuff,
or whatever. 70s.
Now, when you started off, was it country, or was it, like you said,
I was a classic rock guy. I grew up with
just
Led Zeppelin.
Blow the rough off.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Bad Company. Although we had all kinds of music in my house, my dad listened to all kinds of country, and so I knew a lot of Haggard stuff too. And I lived in Pennsylvania, and you can't play bars in Pennsylvania if you don't know polkas.
Well,
I'm not sure polkas too.
I'm sure. And as I asked your drummer tonight that set in for the first time too, and you came in here out of nowhere and did a wonderful, beautiful show. Really a mini concert in a little town that's not that populated, which is almost getting a concert on a scale that you'd get it, Nashville or here or there. How do you feel about that coming into something like this? Is it just another day, or what does this day mean to you as far as Rob and his mom and all that?
It's special to me because I knew Frida, and of course I knew her for a good 10 years or so, and I got close to her just as I did Rob over the years. So coming to town like Bucyrus, I've been here before for several of the festivals and things like that. It's very similar. Ohio's very similar to Pennsylvania, so I know that whole festival feel and hard-working class people that live here.
Right.
And I'm used to that kind of atmosphere, cornfields and the cows and everything else that go along with this area. So I enjoy that a lot. And of course, when you come here with professional musicians, it's always exciting.
May I ask the date that you started playing in memory, when an age closely to when you started picking?
I can tell you exactly. I started playing in the spring of 1971. So
okay, good year.
I just turned 10 years old that year. And I had a brother who was 11 months older, and we both started learning. My mother played guitar and sang just as a hobby more than professionally. But so we had the instruments around the house, and when my father saw that we were taking an interest, he took it upon himself, even though we were sort of poor and didn't have a lot of money. He would look in the local merchandiser papers for instruments and amplifiers and to get us started. So and we started like all people did back then in the 70s. You started in a garage, or whoever had the garage or living room where you could play, that's where you started out. And that's how I started playing music. And back then it was totally different, of course. To learn a song, you had a record player with a needle, and you heard the lick, and if you didn't get it, you picked up the needle and put it back a little bit and put it back down until you got it. There was no tab music or anything like that for the kind of stuff we had to learn. It was all done by ear. So it served me well when I came to Nashville, because just about every musician plays by ear here, and just like tonight, all the guys, we don't know what the songs are even. A lot of times you just have to crank it up and go for it and have the confidence that you're not going to completely fall off the cliff. So, and that's generally what happens.
Good news. Now, I want to ask you another question. As I observe you as another musician, producer / watching you tonight, you seem to have a humble aura, kindness around you, where I've ran into so many musicians that it seems like the ego sticks out there like a sore thumb. What gave you that mentality to keep and to maintain and to manifest that type of personality?
I think a lot of it is just when you come to Nashville, you find out real fast that you're not the best musician, no matter how good you are. And everybody that I played with tonight, and generally in Nashville, these were all either the guitar slingers or the fiddle players or the drummers, and these guys were the best in their towns. And Nashville's like the NFL of music.
Sure.
And everybody when you get good in your hometown, if you're in a small hometown, whether it's in the Northeast or the South or even Alaska, and people start telling you, you're good, you need to go to Nashville, then you go to Nashville and you find out that everybody told everybody else that. And there's about 15,000 guitar players and bass players and incredible musicians who are all at least as good as you, or if not better, and many times they're better. And sometimes, I mean, I played with people who were phenomenal guitar players, and they were playing bass guitar for a living.
Right.
You know, with a major act, because they couldn't get in as a guitar player. So it's very humbling when you come to Nashville. And
now, another question of mine, I got a few questions for you, and I'll wrap this up for you. We'll make it too long. A year from now, what do you think you might be doing, or what's your goal?
I don't know if I have goals. I'm a little bit older than most of the guys I work with now, but I mean, I came here with goals 25 years ago, and I reached many of those goals. I got to work with some of the greatest musicians and famous people. And the thing about Nashville is that we know who the famous people are for us.
Right.
The general public may not know who they are.
Right. But
we'll
know
go out, we'll go out to
circle.
a club to hear a person who we know is one of the best in the world. And I've got to work with many of those people in the studio and on stage. And I've also got to work with some famous people. And you never know. When you're playing in downtown Nashville, you never know who's going to show up and get on stage with you. So that's happened quite a few times.
Well, one last question before I bother you too much longer, and I don't want to do this, but what I want you to do is give me the pros and the cons of, as you look back through your musical career, historically up to today, 2013, what are the pros and cons, and what outweighs the pros and the cons with you?
I think the big